I know what you're thinking. I know what you might say based on my appearance. You know, a lemur in a suit. I'm a lemur. I'm supposed to be goofy, right? Just because I'm a lemur. Stereotypes. All I can say is, don't judge a book by its cover. So, let's talk about the Chapel Hill shooting. It's a tragic event where 3 people needlessly lost their lives over a noise and parking complaint dispute that was ongoing. At least that's what the police have concluded with their investigation. The key points that people are focusing on is this a hate crime? And did atheism play a huge role in this event? Well, as far as a hate crime is concerned, I feel if a person attacks someone or kills someone based solely on their ethnicity, their sexual orientation, gender identity, their religion, or lack of religion, that, to me, should be labeled as a hate crime. And I think most people would agree with that. As far as we've seen right now, based on what the police have concluded, is that this guy was just a hothead and he snapped because of this ongoing dispute over noise and people taking up parking spaces.
The cops say they believe the dispute was over parking at an apartment complex. Now, finding a parking space is one of those things that can push some people over the edge, but there is always a way to find a spot at the mall. Jim Murray helps you break the code.
What the fuck?
Now, of course, nothing these 3 people did warranted their execution. And nothing this guy can say in his defense should even suggest a lighter sentence. Now, as far as atheism is concerned, well, he was an atheist. I'll give you that. But all you have to do to be an atheist is just accept the facts that evidence for God is weak at best, and it probably doesn't even exist. But that God does not exist. That's all you have to do to be an atheist. That's it. That's the only requirement. There's no book to follow.
And it's odd that the word atheist even exists. I don't play golf. Is there a word for non-golf players?
So to have these people come out demanding Richard Dawkins and Bill Maher to apologize for their criticizing of Islam is complete asinine. Apparently, if you criticize a religion and someone goes out and attacks someone for that religion, you are held accountable for it. That makes no goddamn sense. And, he may have quoted Richard Dawkins and Bill Maher quite often, but they would never condone the execution of people based on their religion. They never would have condoned any kind of law that would suppress people based on their religion and give them unequal rights. They never would have supported such a thing like that. And now there's talks of how atheism leads to terrorism.
Sometimes you can glean a lot about a person from their Facebook page. The killer's Facebook page showed that he is a fan of Rachel Maddow, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Freedom from Religion Center, and a bunch of pro-homosexual groups. Pretty much tells us where he gets his moral standards from.
Ah, look at me. I'm an atheistic lemur. I'm out to get you and turn you away from Jesus. Woo! Spooky. If you don't agree with me, I might shoot you. Bang, bang.
This is preposterous poppycock!
Because what one person does reflects on an entire group of people, and they might do it too, right? I could argue that the Christian faith or the Islam faith promotes sexism, promotes homophobia, promotes racism, but not all followers of Christianity or Muslim faith are racist or homophobic or misogynistic. Not all Muslims are violent. We know this. I know this, at least. I'm pretty sure most other people know this. At least I hope so. But with atheism, you can't really even call it an ism. You can't really call it an ism. There's no book to follow. There's no doctrination. There's no belief. I had a friend once, or really an associate. He would spout in these racist rants. He was very anti-Semitic. He was all about keeping the race pure and how great the white race was. He even boasted about how great the Vikings were because they burned faggots at the stake. He didn't believe in evolution. Really, he didn't accept evolution as the right term. And yet he was an atheist. So, you know, just because you're an atheist doesn't mean the sky opens up and you get this profound basking of knowledge. All it is just the declaration that you don't believe in any deity up in the sky that's in control of things, who's watching everything you do, everything you say. If you do want to jump to conclusions and assume this guy attacked these people and murdered them in the name of atheism, well, just remember how many people killed in the name of God, or proposed some bill or law that would discriminate against another group of people in the name of God, believing that God was on their side. I mean, shit, we had a president who consulted with God before he went to war with Iraq. He talked to God to consider whether or not what he was doing was the right thing. And we have people like Mike Huckabee who's like, oh, you have to have the blessing of God to be president. But he didn't do it in the name of atheism. So in the end, the only person left to blame, at least at this point, for the shooting is the shooter. Anything other than that is speculation. And one can speculate until the end of time. I'm Michael Ringtail. Good night.
Liberalism, atheism, the Democrat Party, and yes, false religions like Islam are herding people down a one-way road to despair, violence, hatred, and eventually death and eternal destruction. There's only one exit to get off that damnation highway, and that is a return to faith in Jesus Christ. Each of us individually, and yes, as a nation as well.